Okay, today I'm talking about what not to do when tackling fear foods. And that is to not eat something that scares you and feel the anxiety and the fear and think that you've done something wrong and that you should never do that again. So, an example would be a cheeseburger. You're going to challenge yourself to a cheeseburger today. So, you go, you feel anxious, you go, you get that cheeseburger, kind of tastes good, but you're so anxious, you're kind of just like, why am I doing this? And then you finish it and you think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I finished that. Why did I do that? It wasn't even worth it. I've messed up. I'm a failure. I'm out of control. What am I doing? All of these eating disorder thoughts will just flood your mind. And then you tell yourself, I'm not doing that again because that was so uncomfortable. That was awful. That experience was just plain, simply terrible. Okay, so when you do that, what happens is you avoid cheeseburgers like the plague, even more so than before, because you have this horrible memory connected to eating cheeseburgers or whatever it is whatever fear food that scares you. And so that's what not to do in tackling a fear food is run away from that anxiety and just try to avoid it. It makes the fear even bigger. So when you tackle that cheeseburger and you feel that anxiety through the roof and you have all these negative thoughts that you did something wrong and it was a bad idea to do that and you'll never do it again, you need to reframe those thoughts. They will come. You can't really stop them from coming, but you can't react to them. You can't say, I'm not going to eat that anymore. That was horrible. You have to tell yourself, you know what? That was the first time I've done that. And that was really, really scary, but I've got to do it again because clearly I still have an emotional reaction to a cheeseburger. And you keep doing it. You run into that fear over and over and over again. You challenge and repeat, challenge and repeat. And eventually that anxiety is going to come down. I can promise you that. It will not last like that intensity forever. And eventually it will not be there. But you have to keep doing it. So that first experience is not going to be this like euphoric, amazing, relaxing, delicious meal with a friend that you're just chowing down on this cheeseburger. If it is awesome, that's great. I'm so glad. But likely it's going to be a bit of a challenge. And the most important thing to just remember is to anticipate that. I often tell people visualize before you go and do or go and eat something that scares you. Visualize it. Close your eyes. Okay, I'm going to eat a cheeseburger today. All right, I know driving there, I'm going to be so nervous. I'm going to be freaking out. I'm going to think I should turn around and go back. I should be thinking, I'm going to be like thinking about all these other things that I should have decided on eating. I'll question if this was right, if this is the right time, if I've eaten too much, or I'll have all these thoughts. I just know that's going to happen. And then when I get there, I'm probably going to want to like get the sauce on the side and no cheese. And I'm not going to do that because I'm challenging this and I'm going to order it just like it comes. And then afterwards, I'm sure that my anxiety will be so high and I'm going to be freaking out. And I'm probably going to think I did things wrong and did something, bad. But I know that's going to happen. And so when that happens, I'm just going to sit down and take some big, deep breaths and realize that I will conquer this. So I will repeat this and do it again, even though it feels so scary. So that's kind of like the visualization process that I would do for myself. And that feels like a lot of work. And trust me, I'm not doing that anymore when I eat cheeseburgers. But at first, I kind of had to do that so that I didn't run away from that fear. And I continued to revisit it until it finally didn't feel as fearful. Some foods will take longer than other foods, and it's different for everybody. And there's no rhyme or reason to why cheese took me 4 months and chocolate took me, 2 weeks. It's just, it is what it is. And the most important thing is just to keep on challenging it. So, another thing people ask is like, well, with fear foods, like I literally have like 500 things that I'm afraid of. Where do I even start? When you're eating unrestrictedly, that fear of like, where do I start doesn't feel as strong because it's like, it doesn't matter where I start because I'll eventually get to all of them. I think the paranoia of trying to decide on what to eat or where do I start is coming from scarcity mindset, thinking like, okay, like I can't mess this meal up. This might be my last meal. This might be the last time I challenge myself to something scary. This might be the last delicious food I eat. And then it feels like you could mess up or you might get it wrong. But if you have no limit on what you can eat and it's forever, it's not just through recovery, it's forever, then making that decision is not a big deal. Because if you choose pizza and you eat it and it didn't really hit the spot and you thought maybe you should have gotten a big deli sandwich, then it doesn't really matter because next time you eat, you'll just go get the deli sandwich. And so it's like that scarcity mindset, when you have that kind of like panicky, paranoid feeling about I don't know where to start, fear of messing up, you need more food. Like likely you're still restricting somewhere. So I want you to look at that when you're tackling fear foods. And the most important thing that I feel like is often overlooked with fear foods is the big picture. Okay, acutely, you can look at that one meal that you ate so great, but if you're eating or restricting before that and after that, and you're like planning it out to fit just perfectly in your day, you're still restricting. Like, I'm so glad that you ate that, but you have to look at the whole day's worth, because in full recovery, you don't have to plan out or, premeditate or make sure that this food's going to fit in with the rest of your meals. You don't have to do that. So you need to start acting like you're recovered now. And that looks like eating unrestrictedly all the time. So you're not event restricting, you're not planning around that one meal. So really take a look at that. If you're challenging yourself with the actual food, and challenging yourself not to restrict before or after. All right, hope that helps.